Let's talk about how Hunter nor Austin ran track for Frisco ISD. And why y'all trying to say it was Karmelo that was suspended? No, it was them two white boys that was suspended. They were actually attending alternative school. Let's talk about whenever Jeff Metcalf used to beat up their mama, and so they whooped his ass. Let's talk about how both of them were trained in jiu-jitsu. How convenient the media leaves that out. Of course, the mainstream media is going to leave out how they were known bullies. Mind you, the same people that y'all love trying to bring up that testified in favor of Austin, those are the same people who also testified that they were intimidated by them boys. They were scared of them, so they decided to be their friends instead. That's probably why they lying on the stand now. They probably scared Hunter gonna tear their ass up. Let's talk.
Because I know my son. My son is no murder. My son didn't intend to hurt anyone. My son was defending himself, and that's what hurt so bad.
God would tell us all.
Yeah.
We don't know when, but yeah, it's
just been praying and keeping the faith.
We anticipate in the next 10 to 12 years approximately 8 to 6 million Hispanics coming into the United States and 41 million Asians. You have been the majority minority for 400 years in this country. You have been the number 2 population for 400 years. You're going to get kicked out of being number 2. You're going to go down and become number 4. Now, common sense, even a third education would tell you, if you didn't get anything when you were number 2, you all jumped ahead of me, but anyway, you can guess what you're going to get when you become number 4.
President Biden, do you support reparations?
Well, I mean, since I haven't spoken on this, got a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration. We've been able to cherry pick the best from every single continent. The people here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24 out of every 100 children in our school today is Hispanic. The idea that we are going to walk away and not provide every opportunity for them is that not only stupid and immoral, but it's bad for America. They are the future of America.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. And this is what we are faced with. And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
We are owed $104 trillion on the very low end, plus $735 billion recurring. This number does not include the cost of about 50 Black Wall Streets that were decimated, nor compound interest from 2017 when Sean D. Rochester's book, The Black Tax, was published, nor the cost of Black life, nor the cost of living increases, nor the war on drugs, nor the current day pandemic. The number I'm working with is for slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives.
Good evening on the West Coast. Good evening in the mountain. Good evening in the central. Good evening on the East Coast. You know exactly who it is, family. Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the mostest on the reparationist perspective. bringing you those Black American Negro freedmen hot topics and making a case for reparations, y'all. Making a case for delineation, for deportations, for boycotts, for justice for Karmelo Anthony. Family, this is a hard one tonight, but I'm gonna chew this elephant one bite at a time, calling on the ancestors to help me get through it. I meant to come to you yesterday, but things changed dramatically and very, very quickly. Before I could bring you that broadcast, the verdict was in. That our baby, our son, our brother, our nephew was convicted of first-degree murder. 35 years. It knocked the wind out of me, as I am sure it knocked the wind out of each of you. Yeah. This was very, very unjust. Very unjust. And things were very wrong with this case from the time the jury was selected. You all, I'm sure, have seen a lot. I'm hopeful to bring you some of the things I've learned as I was following this case very, very closely. As I'm sure many of you were too, but there may be some things that you weren't privy to that I was privy to, given that I knew of a couple of the vloggers down there, what they had to endure just to get into that courtroom was unconscionable. Everything about this case was set up to put our son, nephew, and brother behind bars for life. This all-white jury was hell-bent on trading a life for a life. That's what you observed as our son was totally railroaded in this situation. Totally railroaded. And we've got to continue to pray and do all that we can to help him through the appeals process. If you're going to donate to any GoFundMes, make sure it's sponsored by the parents. Make sure of that. You don't know who's grifting off of this and who isn't. So make sure you verify before you give your money. But this was a total ambush. And the things I've come to learn throughout this process, it really blows my mind completely. And it has shaken me to my core. Because this was a clear, open and shut case of self-defense. So I'm not going to belabor. I'm exhausted, as I'm sure you all are. I want to go through some of the things I have found. I want to commend our journalist that was boots on the ground despite the racial terrorism that they had to endure while down in Collin County for this particular trial. Bringing one of the vloggers to complete tears. She literally could not go to the courtroom during the last day because of the harassment. She's from California and had never seen such racism in all her days. So I want to get into it because I have a little to share, but a lot to weigh in on. And I don't want to tarry. I don't want to belabor the situation. I want to get this up and out. So stand by. Let me share my first video. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you in advance. This is to help overcome the shadow ban. That is compliments of ScrewTube. I see you, The Rock. Thank you, family, for joining the live. If you'd like to weigh in as an illustrious co-host, please join us over at ScrewTube. Thank you for being here. Let's chew this elephant one bite at a time, y'all. Stand by. Just a second, y'all. Got a specific order I want to share these videos. Yes, family. We gonna get through it. We gonna get through it, fam.
Media is intentionally doing dishonest reporting about what is going on in the trial of Karmelo Anthony. They're conveniently not going into the details and the inconsistencies in the witnesses' testimony, but luckily I was able to find somebody on Reddit who was actually detailing what each of the witnesses were testifying to. So allow me to paint you the picture of what I believe actually happened. I went through each of the witnesses' testimonies, and it's very clear that not everybody had a clear picture of what happened. So on the day of the stabbing, it started pouring down rain, which caused a delay in the track meet. Very common for athletes, and each of the schools seemingly brought their own tents and set them up so that people could sit underneath them. Karmelo's coach testified that they did not have a tent, that it was actually coming later with a second bus, and they didn't have enough students to justify bringing a tent at that moment, so they didn't have a place to shelter from the rain. Anthony apparently was friends with one of the kids from the tent. Several people saw he and Anthony dap up, greeting each other, and seemingly Karmelo Anthony, while he was in the tent, made some joke about "y'all are ass," referring to their football team. The friend who...
Now I want to weigh in on the friend, because I've got quite a few things to share with you all. I'm going to have to stop and start some of these things just to get through it. This would-be friend was in fact a Judas. He was in fact a Judas. He got on that stand and pretended to never know Karmelo. He distanced himself in a major way. And as far as I'm concerned, he was setting Karmelo up to be eaten alive by the Metcalf boys and the other bullies that surrounded Karmelo as he sat. That's what I believe about this Eddie Para. A description of him from one of the vloggers states that he has Afro-type hair, but his mother appeared as if she were Asian. So he's one of these BIPOC kids. And from what I understand from the intro, these boys were known bullies. And it appears that when they came and impeded on this process of this dapping up and carrying on in the stands between Karmelo and his would-be friend, Judas, he didn't even bother to come to his defense when the other boys were questioning, "Who are you?" And so to me, he was instigating. He wanted to see a fight. He took out his phone and pretended, well, I believe, in my opinion, that he did in fact record the events that were occurring. And I believe, and the reason why I believe that is because when the forensics took the stand prior to Eddie Para's testimony, the defense asked the forensics Where is the entire tape of the said events that happened? In other words, the video you're showing is biased towards the brothers. Where is the part under the tent that shows them assaulting Karmelo? Now, I'm paraphrasing, okay? I'm not working from, what the steno people did. I'm just telling you what I've observed through everything I've been putting together from the vloggers. I've been following this story, and I'm here to tell you that forensic concerning that tape said that he was told by the state to not focus on the parts of that assault against Karmelo. In other words, leave that part out. And this is where I believe that defense was colluding to get Karmelo convicted of M1. I'm going to call it M1 over here. This is in my opinion, based on what I've observed of this thing. Because I don't understand for the life of me, in the same way the defense did not push back hard enough that the last 3 female Black educators were stricken from the jury, why didn't he take the fact that this forensics was advised by the state to leave out the most pertinent aspect of what could have gotten Karmelo off on the self-defense this actually was? Why didn't you take that and run with it? How in the world can the state present a partial video without showing everything that unfolded, including their assault of Karmelo as he sat? I don't understand how in the world was there not a venue change? How could such a highly publicized, highly racially charged case how could that go on in the very Collin County where everybody knows each other, including the DA and the prosecution? How in the world didn't that attorney, that DA, fight for a change in venue? Now, that DA is in private practice now. Yes, he was once a public defender, but not in this case. And I hear people trying to come for Karmelo and why he needs to raise another GoFundMe, as if this was a public defender, asking where did the $500K go in the course of a year? Well, think about it. Do you believe the father could go to work, business as usual, in the year that Karmelo has been on house arrest? Do you think his attorney was free of charge? His team of attorneys was free of charge in the course of a year? If the father could not work, how do you anticipate he could pay the bills, given that the mother was a stay-at-home mom? $500,000 is not a lot of money to those of you who are out there trying to make it as if Karmelo and his family went on shopping sprees and traveled the world while he was on house arrest. I am very over the Tethers and the Coons coming for our son. This young man feels like my son. My daughter is around his age. She's 21. When this happened to him, it happened to me. That's how personal I take this. And I'm trying to do this video justice. I may have to come back in a part 2, but I'm going to do as much as I can for as long as the ancestors will allow me to go. Let me make sure y'all can still see the video. I'm over here just cooking with the ancestors. Thank you for joining the live, beloveds. I will be over. Yes, Beth, I see you, baby. A sham of a trial and done so quickly. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, The Rock. Thank you, Beth, for keeping it lit. I'll be over to hear more of your comments and to read them towards the end of the broadcast, okay? I just wanted to make sure y'all could hear me, okay? So anyway, this has rocked the core of the Black community. And it's shaking me to my core. And I cannot rest without weaponizing my voice and amplifying the messaging, justice for Karmelo Anthony. This was just too much on the heels of Chow being acquitted of first degree, well, manslaughter at the very least. Which, as you know, in the Chow trial, they didn't even put manslaughter on the table. Because they knew he would be let go by that jury. Because first degree would mean you had intent. And I'm not going to belabor this point because I'm bringing back the part 2 of that Cyrus series that I just started to lean in on my demand for a boycott of all Asian businesses. Really, all non-Negro businesses is what my boycott is all about. Because these issues aren't just centered in the Asian. They're also with the Hispanics. We've got issues with the Africans and the Caribbeans running interference on our reparations fight, our delineation fight. We've got racist Indians and racist, all of these foreigners that will not hire our children in the very neighborhoods that they come to profit, only to take it back and dwell as Americans in white communities that we've been redlined out of. But I'm bringing that to you in a part 2 because other things have come out about Chow making it a habit of shooting at Blacks in that South Carolina community that Jim the Coon Kleinberg has yet to speak out against the acquittal of Chow after murdering our son Cyrus, 14 years old. They want to sit up here and talk about a gun. I don't know how you have a pow-pow how can you both aim a pow-pow at Chow and his son and be shot Akshay in the back at the same time? How's that work? And yet he was acquitted, unlike our son Karmelo, who the state clearly told forensics to withhold the assault of Karmelo from the tape to get a very, very biased version of said events. To get an M1 on this baby. This 3.7 GPA student who saved lives the year prior. Maybe it was a few years prior. But this young man actually saved a drowning boy. We're going to get into it. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Unlike the Metcalfs, who came from a broken home of domestic violence, it is alleged that these boys broke their own dad's arm that was in a sling because of the DV against the mom. As the sister shared at the top of the video, they were the ones that were suspended, not Karmelo. Karmelo's been taking college courses since graduating high school while on house arrest. And now they not only put this baby away for 35 years and find him a guilty verdict of M1, they have literally traded a life for a life. And who knows what's going to happen to Karmelo inside the prison. And that's why we've got to use the power of our prayers to put a hedge of protection around this young man, find out where he is, and send him every manner of inspiration to let him know that the God in us is with him. I'll be doing care packages, okay? And sending him books to help him understand the truth of who he is as the face of God, the voice of God, the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. And I encourage each and every one of you to put money on his books, do whatever we can, because the appeals process is going to take a minute. While it's on my mind, shout out to the white folks that are speaking up and out against this. You are greatly appreciated. Shout out to the Asians who have spoken against what Chow has done and done your part to help the Asian community understand why the Negroes must boycott. Thank you. I'll be sharing more of that in part 2 of the boycott series I started, I think it was Sunday. But let this sister here continue to cook. She does an amazing job, I got about 3 white folks to show y'all tonight that are putting in that work for Karmelo. That's why we can't lump everybody into the same category. But we must seize control of our economics to ensure our children have generational inheritable wealth. Because as it stands, our dollar doesn't even spend one time in our communities. Because our government has allowed all of these foreigners to invade our communities, to sell to us, in some instances, harass us, and schmurder us, and then take the profits off of us to educate their children in colleges while our children are being set up for the grave or for the preschool to prison pipeline. They're living in the very white, pristine communities that we've been redlined out of. That is what my economic boycott is about. Our dollars recycling amongst us. And I'm going to be leaning into that messaging now that I've got a bunch of support from the new Black media who are now on code for what I've been teaching y'all over here to do for years. And I want to say this, or rather the ancestors want to say this to the glacier donkeys. Don't even begin to think that since you've done this to our son Karmelo, that we will not continue to stand our ground. Because that's what we do. We are not fleeters. We are not tethers. We are descendants of the emancipated. We are just like our ancestors, the ones who fought back. Just think Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman. When you think about the Negroes that run this today, don't get comfortable and learn to keep your motherfucking hands to yourself. Anyway, I digress. I'll be back to cook. Let her cook. And as the ancestors give it to me, I'll give it to you.
Weirdly enough, denied kind of how close his relationship was with Karmelo Anthony, said that it was a joke. And by the way, Karmelo Anthony is not only the captain of the track team, but he was also captain of the football team. His senior year had been cut short because he had had an injury, a very severe one, and his shoulder was messed up. He had to wear a sling for part of the year. They also don't mention that Karmelo Anthony was already in the tent before the Metcalf twins entered it. It wasn't until the Metcalf twins came to the tent that they seemed to be the ones who had a problem with him being there. And it's pretty inconsistent across the 9 witnesses from the incident about where Austin's brother even was during this. Some said that he was right next to his brother. Some said that he was in the back of the tent. Some said that he was a couple bleachers down. Witness said that they heard Anthony say, "I'm a nobody," when students were asking why he was under their tent. And there doesn't seem to be any consistency on what the words Anthony was saying. And while they're trying to say that Anthony is the aggressor, the person that he was in there seeing literally thought it was funny, and he took out his phone and pretended to record it. I personally don't believe that. No teenager just pretends to record things, especially since one of the witnesses said that after the incident, students were passing around a phone and looking at Anthony's Instagram page, which doesn't make sense. You wouldn't just pass the phone around. You would just ask for the handle and you would go to his Instagram page. What I think they were passing around was the video. I think there was a video and they deleted it because it...
I don't know if they deleted it or if when he handed his phone over to the cops, they deleted it. But I am with her. I believe Eddie recorded it. I believe Eddie the Judas was actually instigating a fight. And had Karmelo not used that blade, which was in fact a utility tool for his cleats. That's another thing defense didn't share. Defense didn't talk about his epilepsy. Had he not used that utility tool for his cleats, they would have torn him to shreds and stomped him out, akin to a Chauvin or a Daniel Penny. Had he not done that to back that corn-fed hillbilly up off of him. And I can promise you, he would not have spent a day in jail, let alone be brought up on a charge of M1. So I believe there's evidence tampering. I believe there's witness tampering. We're going to get into it. Let's go.
Would have looked bad on Austin. I say that because this person that Anthony was talking to didn't step up and say to the guys, "Hey, he's with me. We're just hanging out talking." And Karmelo's lawyer had to show a bunch of photos of the two together hanging out. They even hang out 3 times in a 3-week period. So they knew each other pretty well. It's clear that Austin specifically did not want Anthony in the tent and was ganging up on him. I think they all were. Because both Anthony and Metcalf were frustrated and escalated, according to one of the witnesses. And mind you, there is no policy that these kids can't be in each other's tent. And in fact, there are supposed to be coaches at every tent because it's a bunch of teenagers have nothing to do. So where was the adults, in my opinion? And it didn't start out as a big deal because Austin Metcalf sat down on the bleacher in front of Anthony, which sounds honestly aggressive. He came in, he started antagonizing him, he sat down next to him, they started calling each other bitch. And nobody is consistent with the shoving part. Some say it was a small one-handed shove. Another witness said, and I believe this is the true story, that there was minor pushing for a couple of minutes, that both Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony were angry and aggressive. Several witnesses say that they didn't believe Anthony when he was bluffing, that Metcalf and Anthony were frustrated and it escalated, and some called the shove a nudge. And one of the witnesses, turns out, told the cops that Anthony had told a joke and that Metcalf had pushed on Anthony in a lineman move, which is an inward and upward motion. Some of the witnesses said that both of the Metcalf brothers were ganging up on Anthony. And I think these kids have a very skewed perspective of what defending them was, because they said that Anthony said, "You're not going to move me, you're a bitch." The witness told the jurors Austin was defending us. That's not defending you. I think y'all went through a very traumatic effect, and you can't come to terms with the fact that I think your friend was the aggressor. But you can't say that he deserved it. So obviously this guy has to be the perpetrator. It has to be his fault. It has to be a murder. Some of the kids were giving different statements to the police last year, right after it happened, like not mentioning the cursing. Another witness characterized Austin's putting his hands on Karmelo as a warning. The witnesses across the board all pretty much agreed that this lasted 4 to 6 minutes. If someone is harassing you for 4 to 6 minutes, as a woman, I too would be grabbing my backpack and unfolding the blade in there because things were progressing. This witness said that Austin Metcalf tried to force Anthony out. After Metcalf put his hands on him, that's when he got stabbed. If this had been an actual problem and not just a couple of kids bullying the black kid they didn't know under their tent, then they would have gone and gotten an adult that should have fucking been there to begin with. And that is very obvious on cross-examination of a witness when the lawyer said if Anthony and a friend were outside of the tent, what was wrong with that? And the witness, who was also on the football team and was part of this little group, said it was because of the proximity to the tent. But every witness who saw the stabbing said that Karmelo was sitting on the bleachers and that Metcalf was standing up and pushing him. Anthony never got out of his seat. And not only that, the wound and the blade prove that he did not even try to stab him. He just held it out and Austin went on the blade. You know how?
Now, why didn't the defense stress that point? Why didn't the defense stress that point, y'all? Because that is actually what happened. As he was roughing up Karmelo, the forensics said the same thing. The forensic talked about the direction the utility tool was up from a seated position, not standing and intentionally stabbing Metcalf, Austin in the heart. He fell on that utility tool, y'all, harassing and roughing up Karmelo. Let's her cook. She's cooking.
How I know this? Because the blade itself is 3.5 inches long. Everyone said that Austin leaned in to push him and Karmelo stabbed him. There's no dispute about that. Anthony was sitting, Austin was standing over him, getting ready to shove him, and he goes into the blade. So if the blade was 3.5 inches and the wound was 2 inches deep, people, what does that mean? It means he could not have stabbed at him as Austin was leaning in to shove him. Austin had to have been the one who fell on the blade. I'm sorry, but it seems pretty obvious to me. Like, this is self-defense. How could Anthony be the aggressor if he never fucking moved from his seat? That is literally stand your ground. And all of this could have been avoided if he had just minded his own business or gotten his coach. And the prosecutor kind of proves my point when he asked the doctor if there were any defensive wounds on Austin, and there were none. He already had his hands out to push him. He crossed that physical boundary and fell on that knife. There is never a situation when a person is sitting down and a person is standing up physically impeding you, that person is not the aggressor. And if this was the opposite, this wouldn't have even been a trial. I have a feeling the defense is going to tell us that there is a documented history of aggression with Austin. Let's face it, the prosecution is resting on racism in this case. That's exactly why they struck all of the black jurors. They are just hoping that they will just gloss over all the inconsistencies in this story, because not a single person out of the 9 witnesses that were there had a consistent story. And that's what the media is not telling you.
Let me stop sharing that, family. Now, she makes the most sense out of every damn body. That's exactly what I gathered from what I've been observing throughout everyone I've been following on this trial. And now that jury, because his defense failed him, the very case she made just now should have been the case his defense attorney made. That defense didn't mention that that knife was a utility tool for his cleats. He did not mention, let me look at my notes. He did not push back hard enough when the 3 black educators were dismissed. And to my understanding, they made it about the fact that they were educators. And yet, to my understanding, there was a white female educator in the jury. He just did not go all out for his client. He did not bring up the fact that Karmelo suffers from epilepsy. He did not push back against the conflicting stories between the 9 witnesses. He did not push back when the forensics sat up there and said that the state told him to leave out pertinent information showing the assault on Karmelo. I'm reading my notes, y'all. Okay, as more things come to me, I will share them. Let me finish sharing the videos I've got here. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications.
I'm not sure that the prosecution expected this, because they did have one of the witnesses said it wasn't just a push. It was, he lifted him up in like a linebacker drill type, like when you see a linebacker, hit the dummies. And so, that's what he said.
See, dude, this is why evidence is important and how you get persuaded. That testimony right there, I know we have some video evidence as well. That testimony right there is the single most important fact of this motherfucking case. Because if he literally tried to decleat him and knock him off his fucking feet, it changes the proportionality analysis. That is 100% defensible by hitting somebody in the chest with a knife. Because if you're trying to knock somebody off their feet in a tent around a bunch of people that continue to tell you to leave, you get knocked to the ground, you are going to be scared of being hurt. Serious bodily injury. That testimony right there, the believability of that witness that said that, if it's believed, he's not guilty. It's self-defense all day. Because the other witnesses that testified, one dude said it was 2 hands. One of the witnesses said it was, he just tapped him. Those were Austin's friends. But if it was some aggressive shit like that, which was just testified to, It's self-defense all day. Austin's over 200 pounds. Karmelo's 5'8", 135. That's the most important shit we've heard.
Well, one of the things he doesn't get right is the fact that Karmelo wasn't standing. What Austin was doing, this linebacker move, was while Karmelo was seated. He was seated the whole time. But when he talks about proportionality, that is stand your ground. You're talking 5'7", 130, 6'1", 213. And it was two of them that were that size that were harassing Karmelo. The other brother was too. And Karmelo seated, which makes them even bigger. There is no way if he was able to do that linebacker move on Karmelo while he was seated that he would have survived that, especially given that he suffers from epilepsy. That is self-defense all day long. That is stand your ground under proportionality all day long. Why didn't the defense fight that? This is when I tell you, I believe they were all in. The fix was in. Even down to the jurors they selected. Folks want to get into a fight with me that, oh no, that it wasn't an all-white jury. They had Asians and Hispanics and Indians. I give zero damns where their nation of origin is. These people all mark the box white. They are white adjacent. They work for their colonizers. This is who they live around, who they live amongst, who they are educated with, who hires them over us. That makes you white. Because you claim to be white. Y'all know the history of how white and black even came to be. They made the Irish white. They made the Italian white. They made the Jews white. The Asians white. The Hispanics white. The Indians white. The Africans white. The Caribbeans white. When their numbers are suffering and their birth rates are suffering, they just make the lightest looking groups that they're importing the most anti-black racist they can find worldwide as our smallpox blankets, POC. They bring them in here, and that's how they identify. So yes, it was an all-white jury. If you don't have any Negroes in the jury box, it's all white. Because that's what they do in this country as a social construct. But yeah, this is how you can visibly see that the fix was in. I wouldn't put it past them to know which jurors they were going to put in that box. As short a time as they deliberated. And another thing, I might as well get into this video next about that Jake Lang, that J6er that Trump released. How he was outside the court threatening the lynching of Karmelo Anthony. Yeah. I had a thought about that. I'll get back to it once I show that video. Let's get into it, y'all. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications, y'all. I'm going a little slower than normal because I'm trying to recall everything as I go. Everything that I've borne witness to and why I believe the fix was in, why I believe, I was making a point, thank you, ancestors, about this jury potentially having been hand-selected prior, and how the judge only threatened sequestering them after the close. He was racing through this case. Now, another thing occurred with this Lane cat. He was arrested. And there's a phone call circulating that I'm going to try to queue up for you so you can hear this exchange. This Lane guy is trying to raise bond money on one of these GoFundMe style apps, which we need to shut down. Just like Chud, the butthead, wasn't able to use the money he raised to bond out, neither should Lang. Because there is a recording circulating of him speaking with someone about helping to raise money because he didn't want to rot in jail. And in the same breath, he talks about how they were down there to build up Party Central, as if he already knew what the verdict would be. And he said, if the jury doesn't find him guilty of M1, that they were going to exact their own kind of justice, all the while threatening to lynch Karmelo, which is why he was arrested. Now, how do you go down to Texas to set up to celebrate a M1 conviction with an unsequestered jury? How does that work? Meaning, I don't care if they were told not to watch TV or the internet or read anything. These are glacier donkeys we talking about. Did they feel threatened? Were they complicit? It feels like serious jury tampering to not have any blacks on the jury, and at the same time, Lang is coming down there to set up for a party to celebrate the outcome of M1. And then from jail, you're talking to someone on a recorded line about if they don't deliver an M1, you were going to exact your own kind of justice. And then they come back with a verdict and a sentence within hours of closing argument. Let's keep going, y'all. Now, listen closely to what he says. Let me see if I can put, this is Hunter Metcalf. Right after the incident. Let me see here. Hold on, y'all.
Technically, your bigger brother.
Yes, ma'am. He does a lot of big brother stuff around. He's always on my back. Even if I'm in the wrong, he'll always take my side no matter what. It's just really heartbreaking to see someone that cares for you that much and does everything even by your side no matter what, just pass away like that.
Mm-hmm. Your mom told me that you were there.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't mind, what happened?
There was This kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. This kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see.
Technically, your bigger brother.
Yes, ma'am. There's a lot of big brother stuff around. I tried to whip around as he needs to move. He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. This kid.
Did he not say that Austin grabbed his backpack?
This kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see.
Technically, your
Stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. This kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see.
Technically, your bigger brother.
Things that make you go, Now, what I'm about to show you next is a gentleman that claims he filed an appeal for Karmelo already. This is going viral. Let's just listen. I don't know what to believe. Y'all let me know what you believe about this once I share the video. He doesn't really look like a lawyer to me, but I won't judge him by his looks. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Shout out to everybody, man, helping me get connected with Karmelo's people. Bro, I got their numbers and all that, bro. I'm just not going to shoot a phone call over there. I would never fucking do that, but I was able to get a letter over to a couple of the advocates that they've been working with for the last year. And I've got his entire motion for a new trial done. You guys are like, "Jason, what are you going to do?" Well, the problem right now, dude, is if they're still being handled by their attorneys aren't even going to tell them about this. You have to file this motion within 30 days. That clock started today. And filing, and it's for ineffective assistance of counsel. So they would have to fire those attorneys because those attorneys can't file it. They can't file a motion against themselves, which means they're not even going to tell them about it. And I promise you, this motion is rarely, if ever, filed this quickly in Texas. And I promise you 95% of the attorneys out there would be like, "You'd be crazy to file that." Why? Because they take time. Well, guess what? It's right here. And if they get an attorney and he sees this, he's going to be like, "Let's go." Guaranteed. This is me at 10%, dude. I did this shit today. You'll pay $25,000 for a motion like this, bro. Take motherfuckers weeks. I don't want no money for this shit, bro. I just want to be able to help. And the universe works as the universe works, man. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If I'm going to be able to help, I'll be able to help. And if not, it doesn't matter, bro. We're going to continue to advocate always. Everything happens for a reason. But there's some shit in here that we have not talked about. Because I think there's a motherfucking video of this. Somebody recorded it and it was deleted. And I look back at the testimony. I've got a claim in here about it. Because I don't know if his attorneys investigated it. But I think they had a video of it, dude. This whole thing, dude, just seems like a motherfucking coup against him. Because irrespective of what you think, the law and facts are overwhelmingly on his side. Which is why I was breaking this down every day. Feeling like, what the fuck is going on? Allowed the prosecutor in closing statements 7 misstatements of law to the jury, not 1 objection. And this goes right back to the trial judge. The odds of winning this, low as fuck. Could it happen? Yeah. But that would be a trial judge just saying no, and then you appeal that issue too. But, you know, we will see what happens. I will keep you guys posted. And I got this shit done for now. All right, shout out to everybody, man, helping me get connected with Karmelo's people. Bro, I got the...
What do y'all think? My question is, when I observe that, is where is Ben Crump and all these kinds of lawyers? They got all this lip service when it comes to crashing out over the illegals being in this country. Where is the demon rats? Where's the congressional black caucuses? Where's Jamal Bryan and Al Sharpton and all these loud mouths? Where's Roly Poly? Where's Joanne Reed? Why is it that the only people I see reporting on this and weighing in on this and coming to Karmelo's defense are those of us that are independent in the new black media? You got to ask yourself these questions. Now, to my understanding, Karmelo has a new defense attorney and an appeal has been filed. I don't think it has to do anything to do with his filing. But to my understanding, the appeal has been filed. And it can take months up to years. And we need to appeal until we get our son free. That is it, and that is all. And we need to continue to keep him lifted in prayer. And we need to continue to hold on to our mustard seed of faith and know that God can work a miracle in this situation. But I like what he had to say. I like that he is coming to the defense. I like that there are some white people whose eyes are wide open concerning this ambush of our son. Let's keep going. I'll get to your comments momentarily.
Carmelo Anthony's family is also talking tonight. They believe the trial was unfair from the start. They do plan to appeal. Our Ken Molestina to continue now our team coverage.
A day after the trial, Carmelo Anthony's parents, Andrew Anthony and Kayla Hayes, sat down to break their silence and to let the world know how they're feeling as their son begins his 35-year sentence for murder. Despite what a jury found, his parents dispute their son ever wanted to kill Austin Metcalf.
My son is no murderer. My son didn't intend to hurt anyone. My son was defending himself. And that's what hurt so bad.
His mother recounts the moment she addressed the jury and made her plea to them during the sentencing phase.
To have mercy on my son. That's what I told the jury. I know they had their minds made up already, so I mean, really wasn't much I could say to change their mind.
Both parents fighting back emotions and tears as they described what they believe was a flawed trial.
We were delusional. We thought we was going to get a fair shake.
They claimed there were inconsistencies from the get-go, despite witnesses who took an oath vowing to tell the truth.
Everyone actually lied on the stand.
Everyone.
All of the witnesses' statements were inconsistent. All of them.
His father says the court of public opinion had made up their mind about his son long before the trial began.
He was convicted when he walked out of the jail. If you looked at the news all last year, he was already convicted. If you look at it, it was already done. It was no innocent until proven guilty. He was already guilty.
He says the threats of violence against them continue.
People want us dead.
After they still got what they wanted.
After they still got what they want, they still want us dead. You see, I go look at my phone, people want us dead. They want our family dead.
And now they're preparing to appeal.
They did a number on us.
A judicial process they believe wronged them.
We didn't get justice. A lot of things that were missed that should have been handled a certain way. However, we couldn't say anything. We did what was instructed. We was told. So we just did what we was told.
Ken Molestina, CBS News, Texas.
Now, I also want to share with
As
you all.
Anthony now begins paying the price for his conviction, Austin Metcalf's father tonight is talking only with our J.D. Miles about the price that his family.
I don't want to hear from them. His family raised close to $1 million. They've been living La Viva Loca. The rest is political judicial theater. I don't want to hear his mouth. Let me shut this down. Hold on. I want to share what else I found out about this man while in the courts. One of my very trusted, respected vloggers tells me that Metcalf was feeding those young witnesses the answers from the audience. Feeding those witnesses responses. One of the questions was, do you think Austin is, a huge guy? And my vlogger who was there in the courtroom saw Metcalf, the dad, shake his head no. And another question was asked and he would shake his head yes. And this was how the witness was responding based on the cues they were taking from Metcalf. This is why there should have been a change of venue, because of how highly publicized this case was. And the parents are absolutely correct. They had already convicted her son. The minute the black judge, who was recused, to bring the white judge in, it was the black female judge that sent him home for house arrest for the last year. And he's absolutely correct. The death threats are out of control, even though they've gotten what they want. He told it right. I just don't understand why. Listen. I wouldn't have just followed what they were saying because they are racist. I would have insisted on a change in venue. I would have insisted on an attorney that wasn't amongst the community. Do you think the DA is going to risk his social circles in Collin County, a wealthy white county, that this particular family moved from Louisiana to come to Collin County to give their son a better opportunity? Do you think this defense attorney that is from there was actually going to do right by Karmelo or right by his social circles that he still wants access to? That's his bread and butter. So I'm not trying to disparage the parents at all. My heart goes out to them. I grieve right along with his own mama that gave birth to him. I cried like it was my own child yesterday. That's why I couldn't even come to y'all live. I was destroyed. Y'all already know I am very highly emotional and very much an empath and don't want no harm coming towards my people. I don't know him like I don't know y'all, but my love is deep. I don't know if he's immigrant. I don't know if he's Negro, but it doesn't matter. Because when these glacier donkeys see us, they only see skin tone. They're not IDing you to decide whether or not they want to bring you down to your knees, whether they want you in the grave or whether they want you in the prisons. Whatever he is, he's one of ours because he's in here and he's dealing with the consequences of his skin color. But ain't no way I would have allowed my daughter, if the situation was her, to be represented by someone who is from Collin County and not like me. Can't empathize with none of what I experience when the glacier donkey circles me and my life feels on the line. And how I must stand my ground because at this point, it's either me or you. This is why there should have been a change of venue. This is why I believe that defense attorney failed our son. Let's continue. I'll be over to read your comments momentarily. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you in advance. Stand by, y'all. So this in regards to the guilty verdict, I sense a bit of joy from him, says Ty Symbol. Shout out to him. Grinds TV, shout out. This is Mike Howard, Karmelo Anthony's lawyer, claiming to be easygoing and not an aggressive lawyer. No wonder Karmelo lost. This guy didn't even try. Free Karmelo Anthony. You see, this is when we need Jay Cochran. This is the kind of stuff that's going to make me fulfill my childhood aspiration to become a lawyer. I've done some lawyering in family law and in workers' comp. Now, workers' comp is the only area of law you can actually practice in the state of California without being licensed. And this is a kind of case that makes me want to actually go to law school and become licensed to help our innocent Black men, women, and children. This clown right here. You can't turn down when one of our scholars' whole entire life is on the line. Turn down for what?
So what kind of lawyer do you want? Do you want an aggressive junkyard dog who's going to fight for you hard? Or do you want somebody who has a reputation as, easy to get along with? The answer might surprise you. While of course it's important to have somebody who fights for your rights and stands up for you, if they are that aggressive junkyard dog, the risk can be that they end up being obnoxious or offensive to judges, to prosecutors, and even to juries if your case goes to trial. And so having somebody who knows how to walk that balance, who knows how to stand up for your rights and fight for you, but knows how to do it at the right time and how to do it, that walk softly, carry a big stick mentality, that they have a good reputation. That makes all the difference in the world, in my opinion. I have cultivated a reputation at the courthouses in which I work as somebody who fights for their clients. And if you go to trial, I'm going to give you a hard fought trial, but who's easy to work with, easy to get along with, and reasonable. That ends up benefiting my clients. It's not something where I'm intentionally, being something I'm not in order to get prosecutors to open up and talk to me. But my reputation, as easy to work with, ends up benefiting my clients. Prosecutors end up.
Well, it didn't benefit Karmelo. I've run down a laundry list of areas where you failed. I didn't once mention your temperament or lack thereof. Why didn't you bring in any experts to talk about the epilepsy, to discuss about the utility tool? Why did you push back when that whole entire video wasn't shown? That forensic told you that they purposely left out anything that would cast a favorable light on Karmelo, and I'm paraphrasing, but what I heard was anything that was favorable to prove self-defense, the forensic left out because the state told him to. Why did you fight harder to give him a jury of his peers? Why didn't you push on those damn kids sitting up there with 9 different stories? None of this has anything to do with temperament. You could have been as easy as a lamb. I would not have minded had you fought for Karmelo in a real serious way. But you're more concerned about your reputation amongst your boys' club in Collin County. You literally didn't really bring nobody forward but his mom. Against folks in a jury box that were scowling at him. You didn't put Hunter's lying ass on the stand. I don't know that Karmelo should have gone on the stand. As much as it's going around about wanting to kill the family, wanting to kill him, I don't know how I feel about him going on the stand, but I do believe he was the only one that could have spoke up for himself in a real way. But that aside, why not fight in all these other capacities? Why not get a mistrial? I know that you know that Metcalf was in that audience leading these kids on that stand. I know you heard about it. You did nothing. Has nothing to do with your temperament, sir. And everything to do with you weaponizing everything at your disposal to bring our son home. Let's keep going. Hold on, y'all. And they just won't let us rest. They always want to tell us how to feel, how to behave, how to react, always up in our faces.
Free Karmelo. You guys support Karmelo? Yes? Yes? We're just here with press just to record and talk to you guys and see what's going on. Okay. Okay. Well, it's a free country. You're in public. You're in public. Okay. Okay. Well, you're in public. I'm just asking. Whoa.
Hey, move the camera, bro. They don't.
It's free speech. It's free speech. Why are you throwing stuff at us? Yeah, why are you throwing stuff at us? What the hell is that? They're throwing water bottles at us while we're recording. By the way, there's signs right here that says self-defense is not a crime. Karmelo Anthony should do no time. And there's also this sign right here says hands off. And this says we stand with you. I believe this is about Karmelo as well. You'll see a picture right here of Karmelo Anthony. Your picture is probably from his Instagram. Self-defense is not a crime. So that's basically with the tensions being high here. You can see, I mean, we're not here to support anybody, but we're already having things thrown at us. Well, we don't have to do that.
Angry and upset. His family members over there.
Okay.
So you're agitated.
Those are family members.
You're agitated.
Okay, cool. We'll come back. Yeah,
No,
we go.
don't come back.
All right, well, we don't have to go, but basically what you see here, the same problem you're going to see completely every single time is that people who support Karmelo kind of know he's guilty and he's going to go to prison. I would be kind of upset.
They just won't let us rest, y'all. We had a pretty good run, but not long enough. The sense of entitlement is just nauseating. Nauseating. Let's keep going, y'all. Full Negro Alchemist says, this news drained me. I feel so sorry for the Anthony family. Come out of this system. Too many of us have become comfortable living in the middle of these wicked people because it has rewarded us financially. That has got to change. Stop sending your children to schools or anything else where their face is the only black face they see. Stop moving to these neighborhoods where your black family is the only black family in sight. Let's build our own businesses where we can buy and sell to each other, and most of all, hire each other. We have to create our own system of justice and leave these heathens behind. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Elohim has remembered her iniquities. Shazon, Revelation 18:4-5. No greater truth has been spoken. I have a niece in a similar situation. I'm sure many of you have family members in similar situations where you put them in these communities to give them better access. But the travesty is they lose sight of who they truly are. They lose sight of who they truly are, and they end up, oh my God, my niece, I love her so much, but these glacier donkeys don't mean her any good. That's pretty much all she's left to date. And the things they have put her through are unconscionable. I won't get into it here, but I'm saying that it had to be very hard on Karmelo. I don't know what his school was like. I don't know if it was, I doubt it was predominantly black in Collin County, although I think I heard the percentage of blacks in Collin County was around 14%. To me, they should have had representation commensurate with the percentage that they have in that community on that jury. That would have been a jury of his peers. But it is very emotionally, spiritually, physically taxing on Negro or Black children at large to be in these hostile glacier donkey environments. These people learn their hate from their parents, who learn from their parents, who learn from their parents, and so on and so forth. And so you're literally, in trying to get your children a better education, you're feeding them to the wolves. You're feeding them to immigrants. 283 million of them. There's some exceptions that would love to see your children succeed, but not very many. They put these immigrants into our public schools to set our children up for the preschool to prison pipeline. All of what you just experienced with Karmelo Anthony happened in the morning within 10 minutes or less. That's how fast this happened to our son Karmelo. I can only imagine what he was feeling like to have been invited to sit in the tent, to have a nice exchange with one of the guys near him, to have his own friend become a Judas and pull out his cell phone to record this fight that, in my opinion, he was instigating, because that's what they'll do. I don't know the racial makeup of Karmelo's girlfriend, but that's how Eddie knows Karmelo. Karmelo's girlfriend and this Eddie's parents were friends. And so that's how Eddie and Karmelo became friends, was through Karmelo's girlfriend. My made-up story is that, to some degree, given that Karmelo was a 3.7 head of his track and football teams, that there may be a little bit of coveting of Karmelo by Eddie. Perhaps he wanted some of Karmelo's swag. Perhaps he wanted Karmelo's girl. I don't know. But to deny you even knew Karmelo when they were asking, "Who are you?" You could have cleared it right up. You could have said, "He's a friend of mine, y'all. Lay down." But to me, you wanted brownie points from wanton white supremacy. So you bought out your phone to record the harassment of our son Karmelo. And that's what you were passing around until an officer got a hold of that phone. Now, all of a sudden, it wasn't a video. We were passing around the phone to look at his Instagram. I didn't really record it. I was pretending to record. Why? Instead of pretending to record, which I believe you actually recorded, why didn't you clear things up to spare Karmelo the 35 years he is now facing? A life for a life. Because you're a whole Judas in bed with wanton white supremacist bullies. You set that young man up. And I cannot wait to get to my declare and decree to condemn you all to hell. I'm live, sugar.
For a run.
For a run? Who are you running with?
It's like a club run.
At this hour?
Yeah, my brothers, Tyler, everybody's going. Everybody's going. And I get picked up.
Please be careful.
I will.
Child, my nerves are shot. Let's keep going, y'all. Nah, shares. I've had a white lawyer before, and just like any lawyer, they must be seriously vetted. Then you have to factor in the racial politics of the state and county that you are in. The second his lawyer allowed a jury of 0 Black Americans, Karmelo should have asked for different representation. Grimes TV goes on to say, this Mike Howard, the lawyer for Karmelo Anthony, no wonder he didn't even try. This photo screams wanton white supremacist. Free Karmelo Anthony. Stand by, y'all. Now, I don't know about this publication, Total Pro Sports, but there was a female CEO made a startling accusation against Austin Metcalf that resulted in him being abstayed by Karmelo Anthony. She basically said he was a bully. The CEO of a financial services company has recently opened up about the whole situation and called out the late Metcalf for bullying Karmelo Anthony. Let's keep going. What's this? Oh, this is the news report. Almost 4 years ago, Karmelo Anthony saved a child from drowning. So that was almost 4 years ago. Don't let the media trick you into thinking he's a villain. There's more to the story, and I can't believe those students lied on the stand. Those Frisco students should be ashamed of themselves. And this is Rescue Women Femininity. Here's the article. Yeah, it's real this way. Forever standing with Karmelo because my son could have been dead and he saved him out that pool. He really is my hero. Bystanders save child from drowning in pool. That looks like Karmelo right there in the middle, y'all. Just throwing him away. Stand by, y'all. Okay, I wanted to share with y'all about this Jake Lang. I want to memorialize that here. Stand by. I want to get to the part where that jail call was.
Okay, hold on, y'all. Stand by. Forgive the pause. I gotta get to the right video for that. Okay. Shout out to Ticket TV. Y'all give him a follow. Hold on. Let me see.
Y'all see this? Hold on. I don't think y'all can see this. Yo, chat, let me know if y'all can see that. Can y'all see that, chat? Chat, can y'all see that on your screen? Can y'all see this video? Because, see, a lot of y'all didn't know this happened. I'm putting game on y'all to tell y'all what happened. Chat, can y'all see that video on the screen? Let me know in the comment section if y'all can see that video on the screen, chat. Chat. All right, y'all can see it? All right, I'm about to hit play, y'all. I'm about to hit play so y'all can see what happened. I'm about to hit play. Now, listen to what, this is Karmelo Anthony spokesperson. Now, Karmelo Anthony spokesperson, once that dude went out there, because he wanted to catch a body, y'all. That's what he wanted to do. That's why he had that bulletproof vest on. He went outside and he was saying that stuff about, murking Karmelo Anthony outside the courthouse because he wanted somebody that was in the black community out there to crash out and do something stupid. Then one of his buddies that was with him was going to unload. And then they were going to scream self-defense. And they was going to catch a body outside that courthouse. But it backfired on his ass. It backfired because the black dude, he was smart. The black dude that was right there, he ain't touch him. He was smart. He ain't touch him. Nobody ran out on him and punched him. He was trying his hardest to get dude to crash out and punch him. He wanted dude to hit him so bad because the cops would have been out there and they would have been able to scream self-defense right there in front of the courthouse, right? But shout out to the black brother for not putting his hands on that dude and punch. Because if he would have punched him and the other dude would have shot him, they would have called self-defense. He would have called a black body right outside the courthouse, and then they would have said, oh, we evened the odds. Now remember, this all happened before the verdict. This happened right before the verdict. Remember I told y'all. Here we go, y'all. Let's get to it. Hold on. This happened right before the verdict.
We even have saw the white nationalist Jake Lane come out here and say insinuatory threats to the life of Karmelo Anthony, to hang from a tree, and even to allude that Karmelo Anthony should be shot in the head.
Now, you see that? Now, I didn't want to say that. He said that. I didn't want to say that on my channel. This is what happened outside that courthouse. So that's why when he pulled up with that bulletproof vest on, he went in front of all those black people because he knew all those black people was already pissed off outside the courthouse because they didn't know what was going to happen. But he went right up to him, and this is what he was saying. So when the black folk was ready to got daggone, the one black dude, he ran down on him. Now, I said, damn, dog, don't hit that dude because if you hit him, the other dude, he had like 2 or 3 other dudes with him. So as soon as y'all got to understand, like, it's like a situation like as soon as you punch that dude, they'll say self-defense, and he got a bulletproof vest on already knowing.
I'm trying to just advance and not do all of this here. Okay, let's go.
Why do you think he's walking around with a bulletproof vest on? They know what they're doing. They know it. So this is their plan. Their plan is to go up here, incite violence, cause you to react and punch them, and then unalive you. Go to court, beat the case because they say, hey, this black man attacked me first. He punched me. But they used Karmelo Anthony. He used Karmelo Anthony to try to do it. He threatened Karmelo. He made a threat and said that Karmelo Anthony should be murked outside that courthouse during the trial. So that's why.
So he's been arrested on $1 million bond. I'm trying to get to the part where he was speaking on that recorded line.
You would have thought, okay, one of the replacement jurors got to be black. None of them was. Look at the list I put on the screen, right? None of them was black. Think about it. Think about it. That's going to be a major issue when he files his appeal. That's going to be a major issue.
Hold on, y'all.
To what I'm playing. Let me play this again for y'all. This is Jake Lang on a jail call, calling outside of jail, telling his buddy what happened. Listen to what I'm saying right now. Look, donate some money. Go to my Gifts and Go, donate some money. Did I tell y'all this? They trying to catch bodies on black folks. Then he told everybody, go donate to my Gifts and Go. This is the same shit Chad did. They got his ass though. If I'm Karmelo Anthony's lawyer, I want each of those jurors checked. Remember, everybody got to remember this. The jurors were not sequestered until the final day. The judge told the jury, y'all gonna stay here tonight because y'all got to do the decision.
And they were never sequestered. The threat was, we're going to sequester you if you don't reach a decision today. They were never sequestered. They came back with that verdict within a couple of hours.
Rest. This fool went inside the courthouse and announced, remember, all this is on TV. He announced that if they did not find Karmelo Anthony guilty for first-degree murder, that they was going to stand on business. Now you do the math. You do the math. Let me repeat that again. He said out his own mouth. This is why they arrested him. Now, he said, because I said if they didn't find Karmelo Anthony guilty of first-degree murder, we the people gonna deal with it. And then you couple that with what he said that Karmelo need to be HUNG and bleeped in the bleep outside that courthouse. What you think? What you think? What you think? So if I'm Karmelo family, I'm instantly using this in your appeal because this dude could have influenced the jury because the jury went home every day. You think the jury ain't watching the news? You think they ain't watching this stuff on social media? They can tell y'all don't do it. What you think? Cut the crap, bro. Cut the crap. So the fact that he's been arrested on $1 million, I can use this too and say, hey, this dude was outside the courthouse. He's online going viral. This could have affected the jury, period. Don't think the jury can't be affected. They're human beings just like us. Just like us. Talking about something, if they don't find him guilty, our people gonna take it into our own hands. And I told y'all, he was ready for that shit. He went up there with the backpack and he had a bulletproof vest on. What y'all thought time it was? What y'all thought time it was? If I'm Karmelo Anthony's family right now, all these $1 million celebrities that's talking, put y'all bread up behind the nigga, man.
Shout out to Cardi B. I think she put up $5,000 if rumor has it, and that's true. All the celebrities need to be putting up money to help our son Karmelo. This was a grave injustice. And as much as we poured into them becoming celebrities, that's the least they could do. Even if they did it incognito, they need to help this family in a major way. Let me see if I can find when he was outside the court. Hold on.
And he see a footstool. Let me tell y'all something. I was just talking about this guy, man. Make sure y'all follow me on Kick, X, Facebook, all. It was the biggest mistake he ever made. And so now, what happened is in the aftermath of that, all the black folks that was out there, even Austin Metcalf, this is the thing that surprised me. Even Austin Metcalf daddy went outside. Austin Metcalf dad went outside. They didn't tell y'all this. His father went outside and went and grabbed a megaphone and told this racist, take my son off your website. We're not associated with you. We don't respect you. We don't want nothing to do with you. You're causing more of a racist divide. Because what the racists have tried to do is they try to latch on and create even more of a race war with this situation with Austin Metcalf and with Karmelo Anthony. So he went out to the courthouse, and there's a video. I can't play the video on here, but the video's on my X. If you see my X at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the video. I put it on my X. He went outside the courthouse and said that Karmelo Anthony should be H-U-N-G right outside the courthouse. He said he should be L-Y-N-C-H-E-D. And when he said that, right, they don't went and arrested his ass right now. And now he's being held on $1 million bond.
What's up, George Wichard the Third? I see you, Yaira. Buckaroo Bonza, Sheila Johnson, Mama Deb. I'll be right over, y'all. I think I'm just about done sharing.
That is surprised by what just happened to Karmelo Anthony. In a stand your ground state while standing his ground. Not one black face in that jury box, not one peer, not one person who has ever navigated this country in melanated skin. And if you think that doesn't matter, then you haven't been paying attention to the last 400 years of American history. Because you don't want to. This is not new. This is the system working exactly as it was designed. The reason this keeps happening, the reason we keep standing at these grave sites, at these courthouses, at these press conferences with tears and signs and hashtags is because Black America doesn't have any collective political or economic power. When you don't control the legislation, when you don't control who sits on the bench and who draws the jury pool, your outrage, however righteous, does not move this racist machine. Liberation has never been given. It has always been taken. And until Black America builds the kind of consolidated economic and political power that makes the cost of this oppression too high to sustain, we will keep seating all white juries. They will keep shooting us in the back or in our beds while we sleep. They will keep saying they feared for their lives after they do it. Black folks, I need you to stop calling it a boycott. We're not boycotting anything. You need to circulate the black dollar forever for our economic power. It's not a boycott. It's a replacement. We will circulate the black dollar. We will build an infrastructure. We will govern ourselves because we have no choice. This pathetic society will never change. They are still raising their children to be just as racist as they are. Racism is a learned behavior. You understand? Anti-blackness is deeply rooted in every ethnic group, even within our own community. That's what we're dealing with. You want to talk about allyship? Stop trying to infiltrate our organizations and focus on stopping your people, your community, from being racist degenerates. Do the work in your own community. I love you, black man. I love you, black woman. Knowledge is power, power to the people. There isn't a black American on earth that is surprised by what just happened to Karmelo Anthony. In a stand your ground state while standing his ground. Not one black face in that jury box, not one peer, not one person who has ever navigated this country in melanated skin. And if you think that doesn't matter, then you haven't been paying attention to the last 400 years of American history.
I think I got one more to share, y'all. And then I'm coming to your comments. I'll do the moral of the broadcast. I'll do our declare and decree, our prayer protection. Oh. Yeah, I think that's it. And I think I'll be complete. We'll be complete. Stand by.
To join our boycott because we know the power of the black dollar. This has nothing to do with you. We as black people are no longer spending money outside of our community until you come to realize that respecting our rights is a non-negotiable. Black Americans, the 12 tribes, the Black Atlanteans are prisoners of war, and our black dollar with the Holy Spirit is how we break free.
From now on, every dollar you spend in this country, and you should make a conscious effort to spend that money with a black business.
Every race wants to challenge the black dollar. Well, it's time to show the ungrateful demons how grateful they should be. We are no longer asking for respect. We are going to let our dollars do the talking and the spirit do the cleansing.
It is written, the last will be first and the first will be last. Our years of fighting with our hands are over.
Stop scrolling, click the link in the bio, download the 20 chapters of knowledge, join the community, and help us spread the word. Notice how we did not ask any other race to join our boycott because we know the power of the black dollar. This has nothing to do with you. We as black people are no longer spending money outside of our community until you come to realize that respecting our rights is a non-negotiable.
Thank y'all so much. Yes, I am leaning in on the call for the boycott, which is still the blackout, which is still all about recycling and circulating our dollars amongst our specific group. This is something we have to be extremely intentional with, and it's not hard. We've got the enters of net to go on here first to decide which black farmers are we going to buy our produce from, our meats from, okay? Which black grocers are we going to patronize? Start to cook healthier. Your favorite meals that you like from these foreigners, I've become a 5-star culinary chef in my own home, utilizing the restaurants, the recipes all over ScrewTube, all over TikTok, all over the gram. It's healthier for you. You can control what goes in it because, truth be told, you don't know what these foreigners are feeding Negroes in our own community. It can be causing us to become extremely ill. I was speaking with someone while I was out working my second gig, and one of the guests was just sharing with me about how she's some type of housing inspector, I guess, for Section 8 or something to that effect. But anyway, she talks about how these people that just crossed the border are able to freely set up their little food stands all over LA, and they don't get admonished, and they don't get told to shut it down, and nobody's checking and inspecting how healthy these carts are. And she talked about being in the homes of these people with these carts and how atrocious these homes are. Now you can only imagine if their homes are like that, and there's no health inspector, and they're allowing them to make a living off of feeding people on the streets with these foods, what are their carts like? What is the quality of that food that they're giving you? So you've got to stop for a myriad of reasons, especially your health and your life, to actually make this blackout, boycott successful, buy-in with the Negroes successful. It means we're going to have to go the extra mile. We may have to spend a few extra bucks. Each one has to share about the Black business you've had a great experience at. Give them a shout out on Facebook, ScrewTube. Many of you don't have channels, but you can put it in my chat. I'm totally fine with you sharing good businesses to patronize. Preferably Negro businesses. That's what I'm really seeking. We're out here. We're just scattered. And we're not as plentiful in our communities by design. So we have to be intentional, and we have to show 283 million immigrants that we mean business. There are beautiful Black clothing stores. Even here in LA, they still got some over on Market Street over in Inglewood. All kind of wonderful Black-owned restaurants, but they're peppered throughout. Go and patronize them. They've got a beautiful waterfront Black-owned bar restaurant in Santa Monica. I'll have to get the name of it for you, and I'll post it here the next time we come live. This is only as hard as you make it. Start to network. I was speaking with my Black grocer near my home, and I shared with her about how challenging it was for my daughter to get gainful employment with these foreigners in our communities. And she put me on to a millionaire network circle right here where we reside. And I took her on Monday to this networking event. And she had the time of her life around the Black excellence that has been, it's just dwindled in numbers as people have left the state because of how expensive it is. But here is this cluster of successful, accomplished Black men and women, and I was able to put my daughter in the midst of them, and they'll gladly put her on. The one woman, was with a certain sorority. She called her soror and woke her up out of her sleep to tell her about my daughter. So these are connections that our children can make. The boule ain't all bad. There are some exceptions that are really, really down for the collective. I happen to be amongst that ilk, not the roly-polies and these kind that'll sell the line out. But these are the things we must do for our children. Get involved with your Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill is the best and the brightest of the who's who in your communities. Your children need access to that because those are the ones that will hire them. Those are the people that will put in a good word for them to get hired. Those are the ones that will patronize their businesses. These are the things we have to get back to the basics of what it took for our ilk. Gen Xers, most of us, myself included, first-time college degreed in my line, but came from a loving family that made it possible, that helped me out along the way. And that's what we have to do for one another. Let me get to your comments. Hours late. I'm going to read your comments from the top, y'all. I'm going to try to get through these quickly. Yes, I was just discussing how the lawyer betrayed him. Thank you, The Rock. Oh, thank you, Beth. Yes, honey, I could not talk about this. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, he feels like my own son. I don't have any son. I have a daughter. But I understand institutional systemic racism. I understand when you take out our young Black boys, you are messing with our lineage because you envy the fact that your numbers are dying off as our numbers, well, the Negro numbers are dying off too. If you believe in the Pew Research, that's by design with the war on drugs and the war on poverty, abortions. What else have they leveled against us? Redlining, economic genocide by not hiring our people, allowing foreigners to become the Crayola with 3 Ks, wanton white supremacists at the hiring tables, denying our kids access to advanced degrees, bringing in a whole ESL program for these foreigners to become more American than our children while setting them up for the preschool to prison pipeline, denying us reparations while giving our reparations away to these same immigrants and illegals alike, to make them more American, to our ethnic cleansing, giving them the business loans to own our communities and treat us like crap and murder us, and then go back into the white communities where they educate their children in white institutions. While we're redlined out of that kind of access, comparing those that they give all of our entitlements to the least of us, to try to make it appear as if we're low, no good, low down, no good, don't have ambition, don't have drive, don't want nothing more than to be a loser and to remain the anchor of this country, the anchor of this Titanic called America. They do some very wicked and nefarious things, constantly changing our history, constantly changing how we identify, constantly lying to us, constantly intentionally neglecting our collective while crashing out for our replacement, allowing illegals to vote in our elections, telling you that it's against the law to show your ID at the voter polls, gerrymandering the vote while constantly blaming Trump. The crime bill, authored by Joe Crow, instituted into law, 3 strikes by Bill Clinton with 3 Ks. Stealing and co-opting and corrupting all of our brain trust, our intellectual property, all the while lying through revisionist history that these foreigners are the genius that brought it to manifestation. So I understand and I understand what them being able and allowed to get away with schmurdering us. They're trying to send a message to our collective that we are never to defend ourselves, but this is nothing different than when Nat Turner turned up and all of our unsung sheroes and hero ancestors who rebelled until we finally fought and won our emancipation. So I had no choice but to speak up for my brother. And I want you, my brother, my son, my nephew, my cousin, listen, he's everything. And we've got to use our platforms to make sure he gets the justice he was denied. And tell what really happened for those who don't have the time to tune in to all these amazing vloggers who risk their life and limb to be in the very racist Collin County to cover this story. They literally only allowed seats for the families and for their journalist. These vloggers had to get up and be on that line by or before 6 a.m. to be one of 27 people in the courtroom. It was total chaos and mayhem down there. Some of them claim, that they had some nice experiences, but many of them complain about the harassment they had to endure. It brought one of the vloggers to tears. And her family from here in California was begging her to please don't go. And when she was being harassed, they were begging her to come home. And she chose to stand her ground and continue with what she went down there for. So thank you so much. But yes, I had no choice, and I will be bringing updates and talking about what me and my church are going to do. I want to be, like I shared earlier, to send at least monthly. Excuse me. Hold on one second, guys. Don't go. I have to check in with my daughter real quick. Hold on. Sorry, family. My apologies, but Negro life is still happening. Yes, The Rock. His Judas friend was on Team White Supremacy like they all are. Yes, this is another thing I wanted to talk about. Thanks for bringing it back, The Rock. How there was a bunch of tethers and coons, and you'll see them crashing out for wanting white supremacy against Karmelo. They love their colonizers and slave masters. And they've been talking real slick and reckless and getting in bed with wanton white supremacy to actually accuse Karmelo of M1 while not sharing the truth, because they all want their butter biscuits from their masters and their colonizers. It's profitable to convict Karmelo in the press and publicly before he even has a trial. Hold on one second, family. She just ran out here, didn't close the door. Woo, child, the ghetto. Anyway, yes, they're definitely in bed with wanton white supremacy. And we are cut from a different cloth, which makes us all we've got. We are the only ones that have fought wanton white supremacy. We are the only ones as a collective who love the skin we're in, who understand the power of this melanin. That's what the vlogger said that was being harassed. The one from California. She said she didn't realize how powerful her melanin was until she went into the lion's den with all these glacier donkey racists. And the hate they had for them, even though they prevailed. They got what they were seeking. Pretty much life for this young man. But we're going to pray this baby right on up out this experience. And while he's in there, we're going to pray for his covering. And we're going to pray that he has a Joseph experience up in there. Y'all know how Joseph was falsely accused by his brothers and was jailed and made some connections that ultimately got him free, where he was ruling the land. And when his brothers came down because they, due to their lies about their brother Joseph, when the famine came, right, they had to go to where Joseph was to get food. And Joseph was running it. Was that Egypt? I can't recall. It's been a long time since I read that story. But what these glacier donkeys have meant for bad, God will absolutely turn for good. And everything they've done to our son Karmelo has already been done to them. Karma is undefeated. Never forget that, family. They don't get away with none of it. Remember the war on drugs? And now they're losing their glacier donkeys through the meth epidemic? The universal laws will not be co-opted and corrupted by whiteness, the social construct called whiteness. It is no respecter of whiteness. They're going to get everything that they've given out to the Negro. It's already done. So yeah, you can't trust these other groups because they want your position. They want to destiny swap. And they're all complicit. Some exceptions. But for the most part, treat it like the collective that it is. Let's keep going. Yes, defense was in on it, family. A sham of a trial. And done so quickly, says Beth. Absolutely, fam. I can give 1,000 or 2. Well, praise God, The Rock. Please do so. But like I said, make sure, I'm going to see if the family has their GoFundMe back up before I close this out. This is personal to me also. Yes, family. I've always, says Rock, said only support FBA only businesses. Absolutely, family. And they're out there. You just have to do your work, and you're going to have to plan. If you've got to order things online and you don't want to run out, make sure you plan, okay? They trying to make us fearful of self-defense, but the devil is a lie. You're absolutely right. We cannot be afraid at all to defend ourselves. What did that one how's that one quote go? I'd rather be judged by 12 than buried by 6. You stand your ground. Do what you got to do. We must support his appeal. John M. 1069, peers does not mean countrymen. It's about people that can understand and relate to your experience, idiot. You get a clue. What the hell are you doing over here anyway? This ain't about you. Goodbye. You're blocked. I've been boycotting for 30 years. We need institutional wealth for our families and communities. That's right. Thank you, Knight Rider. He'll win on appeal. It's coming back. Absolutely, family. And we're going to be right here to ensure his success. We ain't going nowhere. We are going to lean in harder. Amen to that, The Rock. It was a multi-purpose tool, not a knife. Yes, to my understanding, it was a multi-purpose tool. They called it I think, who was that? Tyreek said it was a utility tool for his cleats. Okay? That's what was used. And that's where the defense failed, because he could have been stressing that instead of me picking up on what I've learned about the case, I've made a better case for Karmelo than his ass, and he got paid. That white woman that I had at the top of the broadcast dropping knowledge, she represented Karmelo in 7 minutes better than what this fool did in what, 5 days or less? It's unconscionable. Jury tampering, yep. Knight Rider, it was malicious, intentional, purposeful, and willful. Ineffective assistance of counsel. Yes, sir. Obviously, Metcalf was never taught how to keep his hands to himself. That's most of their problem, family. You see, they have been taught and conditioned to believe that they are able to have ownership over us. That's why you saw that white journalist going up to them and actually having the unmitigated gall to be like shocked that they don't want to deal with him, that they throwing things at him, that they're having a moment. We're not supposed to be able to act in our humanity. They're sitting up here treating us like we're still their slaves. And we're far from it, never to return. That's the problem. They are taught that they've got privilege and entitlement to treat and say and do any manner of thing to the Negro that they damn want to. And when you look at the injustice system, they're getting away with it. And I already told folks when that Glacier Donkey that went up there in the Black Lives Matter protests, Kyle Rittencracker, remember when he went up in that Black Lives Matter protest with some type of AR-15, some type of weapon, and murked 2 of his own? I knew right then and there that his ability to walk after murking 2 of his own was going to be the green light for us to be murked next. And now it's coming to pass. Not that it hasn't been happening, but we got 2 of these cases back to back between Cyrus and Karmelo. That's a lot. But I knew when he got away with murdering his very own, it wasn't going to be long before the deputized would be able to murder us and get away with it. And that's exactly what the Buffer class is doing at the behest of wanton white supremacists who they opt to be in bed with because it advances them. Only for a little while. It's not the best retirement plan. Because when the Glacier Donkey is done using its POC tools, it breaks them. That kangaroo trial was illegal and unconstitutional. That's why it's coming back. Yes, let's let the prayer be that it comes back sooner than later. Obviously, the prosecutor buried and tampered with evidence and the witnesses. Absolutely, family. Hi, Mello Joe. Thank you for weighing in. Not a fair trial. Good prosecutors don't have to cheat, and he handed a wrongful conviction by the judge and defense attorney. Yes, family. You're absolutely correct. Mello Joe goes on to say, yes, and even the witness who saw the actual footage at the school district that wasn't grainy, and it was clear, said Austin launched at Karmelo, and Karmelo's body jerked back. His defense attorney did him such a disservice. It was not a jury of his peers, not jurors look like the defendant. You cannot stack the box like that. It's illegal and unconstitutional. That's what that fool that I blocked. Sixth Amendment. For everybody but the Negro, clearly. That illegal and unconstitutional jury was purposely fixed to ensure a wrongful conviction. It was a con. Thank you, Knight Rider. That was a prime example. Black robes, white justice. Come through, fam. Spitting fire. It was malicious, purposeful, intentional, and willful. 6th Amendment and 14th Amendment violations. Oh, you must be a lawyer too, family. It was a manifest injustice. The notice of appeal was filed. His appeals attorney will have 30 days to submit the appeal. Once that kangaroo conviction is kicked back on appeal, he's going to need a competent defense team and a change of venue. Correct, Knight Rider? If it ain't right, it's wrong, and right don't wrong nobody. That case was fixed before it entered that courtroom. Those types specialize in case fixing because they can't win on a level playing field. Reminds me of the demon rats. The prosecution witnesses were coached. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. And Metcalf was coaching them from inside the courtroom. That needs to be brought to the attention of the family. A change of venue was paramount. That should have been a priority. Those people party and play together. Mama Deb says the lawyer didn't even try. At least Karmelo could have told the real story. Like the mama said, it didn't matter. Their minds were already made up. That's why they came back so fast. But I do wish he had told his story for the world to hear it. Perhaps on appeal. I don't know that he will on appeal. I don't know what'll happen when the case comes back. The lawyer did not try, says Hella Johnson 2459. Welcome to the live. He was against him as well, which is so sad. They were all colluding together to guarantee this baby got a life for a life. So do black people want reparations from the entire world or just white people? Okay, you're not serious. You're blocked. I can't with y'all. I can't with the trolls. I'm not going to with the trolls. Salutations, Lord. I got to catch up 1.5 hours. Rude trackers, and I don't know why. We've spoken today, and I text you I was going live today. I see you, George Woodchard III. Welcome to the live, Huntsville, Alabama. Anthony's law team was pathetic. Is he refiling with them? Please say no. No, I think the name of the new lawyer, and I don't know if I like this any better, Danny Perales of Chelsea and Perales PC, but don't quote me, child. There's so much misinformation out here circulating, honey. One of the vloggers sat up here and said that Karmelo had been moved to the Texas State Prison and that the first cousin of the Metcalfs was his warden. But the information I had totally contradicts what she said. Child, you have to vet everything you hear on these internets, honey. You really must. Yeah, she says she don't go to them street vendors. Good. Lots of folks do, and good luck with that. I'm also not only unsanitary, but a disrespect to the brick and mortar. It's also not only unsanitary, but a blatant disrespect to the brick and mortars. I concur. I have a postmark closet at YC Homes, a Poshmark. Okay, so you guys support Yaira. She has a Poshmark closet at YC Homes. Clothing men, women, and children. Some home goods there too, y'all. Okay, so this food has got to go. Yeah. I'm banning the trolls and deleting their comments, y'all. I've been attracting a lot of those lately. Mama Deb goes on to say, I'm not spending my money with no immigrants, not even the melanated ones. Very good, Mama Deb. That's the kind of boycott I'm calling for. Make sure to redirect our money to Black American businesses and make sure they're Negro family. Because, Mama Deb, as you know, the tethers are now identifying as Black Americans and African Americans. They used to be solely stuck on their nationality and distancing themselves from the Black American and the African American titles. But now that they want to cut into our reparations and they want to stay in the country, they're heavily leaning into our identities. So make sure you vet the business very closely and guarantee that it's a Negro business, okay? Ask, who are you before you spend your money? The black male blogger with Law and Crime seemed to be with glee and honor to be sitting behind the Metcalf family, shaking my damn head. Child, it is just unconscionable to see the coons and the tethers out here crashing out for their colonizers and slave masters. It's disgusting. Root Trackers goes on to say, I am shocked but not surprised to learn that Black women still going to these pay now, manicurists. Yeah, I mean, but the thing is that each one has to reach for one, has to teach one. I heard in one of the videos I shared about Black-owned businesses and to patronize, the sister was driving around. That's coming in the part 2 of the boycott series I got to bring about Cyrus and some other important points I want to make concerning that boycott. But there was a sister driving around town, and I'm telling you, you didn't hardly see anybody out at the Asian stores. They were literally outside looking for the businesses. I'll be sharing those videos the next time around in that particular segment. But the one woman that she saw coming out of either a mani-pedi shop or she was coming out of a beauty supply store, I'm not sure. But the woman had no clue about what has just happened to Cyrus, and she wasn't aware of the boycott. And so I'm telling everyone that I speak to and come into contact with about our national call for a boycott until times get better for Negroes. Like, I don't know when we're ever going to be able to go back to their shops. My hope and prayer is to starve them out of existence, not only in our communities, but send them running back home to do for their countries what we've done for this one. So we can actually rebuild our Black Wall Streets unimpeded by this racist hate that that's currently being leveled exclusively at us. Hi, Angela Tatum. I swear, sis, I can't stress enough for families of our ilk to stop moving into these hostile environments, claiming they're trying to give them a better education. However, I believe it's for the parents. Well, absolutely, I think it's for both. It's sad, you know, fam, because I literally had to put my daughter in predominantly white and Hispanic schools because what's happening with our public schools is that these wealthier whites and immigrants, the wealthier whites and POC are siphoning resources from the public education school system to afford their children a private school education on public school dollars. And so they're robbing the communities that are marginalized and poor. They're taking the resources and siphoning it from those schools and putting them in the schools in the white and POC communities. And there are a limited number of spaces that remain for our children. They make sure of that. You've got to be a damn near 4.5 to get that 1 or 2 slots that remain. I literally had to show up with one of my sister friends, her daughter, my daughter to a superintendent's meeting at one of the local schools because after giving us school choice and rearing my daughter and my friend's daughter in a very privileged cul-de-sac environment with predominantly white and Hispanic children, by the time they reached middle school, they wanted to kick them back into the hood to get their API scores up off of the spiritual welfare of our daughters. When I showed up to that superintendent meeting, the moment I opened my mouth, he knew exactly who I was, called me by name, because my emails, I was taught to write like I speak. So it wasn't that he didn't get my emails. He was intentionally ignoring my emails until I showed up to that school where he was speaking to the white and POC families. He quickly wanted to bring the temperature down because, you know, I was up in there being Ida B. Wells and sharing with him in front of these white and POCs, you're not going to use the tax dollars from the property I own to give a privileged education to these whites and POCs, and kick my daughter and my friend's daughter back into the hood to break their spirits in order to get your APIs up after they've just had cul-de-sac enriched educational experience. Not on my watch. So he fixed it. But what he did was he sent us to a school that was 20 miles commute from our homes with no school buses when we were right down the street from the #1 middle school in the district, 4 miles from my home. So from 6th through 8th grade, me and my sister friend had to be a buddy system to get our children, our girls, through middle school while being working parents. These are the hoops they make you go through to afford your children the best of education, the best of the resources. Now it's up to us to teach them the history, because they're not going to do that. They'll focus on everyone else's history but ours. But I put my daughter in track and field so that she could be around people like her. When she finally went to the neighborhood high school, there were far more blacks to socialize with on her track team. She's at an HBCU now. Did 2 years at a PWI, okay, public white institution. But she is thriving and flourishing at the HBCU, which costs twice as much as the in-state PWI. But you can't put a price tag on what it does for our children's self-esteem. And the fact that they can rub elbows with the best and the brightest of us, who are the ones that will afford them the opportunities denied by the Glacier Donkey and the POCs. You can't put a price on it. She's grown and matured in leaps and bounds at an HBCU, what was not occurring at the PWI. Her very first year, due to the pandemic and the fact that we refused to vaccinate, she was put in a very hostile environment in her dormitory with 3 Blue Lives Matter bitches. She was home practically every other weekend. They tried to treat her like the help with their nasty, trifling asses. 2 white Hispanics and another European white. And my beautiful black child in that situation. So it's leaps and bounds and improvement to put her in an HBCU where she can learn about herself and be amidst a company of excellence, Black excellence. That's why I was saying, if you've got to do something like that, you must balance it with like a Jack and Jill organization that's going to teach your children the history and give them a sense of pride. So they can understand that they are the best and the brightest, unakin to the propaganda machine that would try to tell them otherwise. They in here, sis, because they worried about their generational businesses going up into non-existence. Yeah, they in here, family. They've been riding me since I called for the boycott an episode ago. It's been, I think it was before then they actually started coming for me. It's gotten out of control, though. I'm gonna have to learn how to give y'all some wrenches. White women benefit from affirmative action more than anyone, and therefore the white man benefits too. So stop your madness. Absolutely, family, as well as DEI, which was founded on the heels of the annihilation and the execution of Mr. George Floyd by the Glacier Donkey Chauvin. Yeah. While Al Sharpton and Jamal Bryant had Negroes crashing out and boycotting Target over a DEI that don't even benefit us. The niggerance is real, family. But you don't hear them. They as quiet as mice pissing on cotton in the church house. You don't hear nothing from them now to talk about where the real boycotts need to occur, which is in our community. What's left of them anyway. And don't forget, y'all, help to make it go viral. When you see people in their stores, in their laundromats, in their dry cleaners, in their gas stations, in their beauty supply, the mani-pedi shops, pull them to the side and educate them till we make it go as viral as FBA. Negro Freedmen. It won't let me finish, but I stand on my square. It was for the comfort of the parents to move there. Oh, I understand, family. Yes, well, the parents could have had to move there for work. That's what took my sister into the environment where her daughter has to be surrounded by them. Her husband was a colonel in the Air Force and was stationed there. So sometimes it's work-related, family. We're not going to, blame the parents for wanting to move up out of Louisiana. They was probably in the sticks somewhere. I don't know what it was like. This could have been promotion, more money. They've got more than one son. I'm certain with the way my daughter costs me, that this is costing, that this is costing them with more than one child. That's why the mother's home raising the children. These white content creators making up that a juror of your peers or anyone in the community. How is that, honey? When they talking, they lying. No, OJ did not schmurder them folks. No, he didn't. That's why he was acquitted. We need to see about that picture of the judge, the prosecutor, and the dad. Well, family, I heard that higher Highness, Your Highness B1. Listen, I heard that picture was an outright lie. So that's why I didn't flash that picture. That picture's a lie. I got another picture. Let me see if it populated yet. No. Yeah, I tried to send that photo to myself via email, but for some reason it's not picking up. I've got a picture of the DA and the prosecutor when they were younger. These people go way back. They all know each other. This should have been declared a mistrial. It should have never been able to get off the ground. And Colin, Lord, what's the name of the place? Collins. Oh, child, I'm tired, y'all. Forgive me. I get fuzzy brain when I get sleepy. Yaira says she napped and did not wake up. Oh, don't cry, baby. You could always go back to the beginning. Listen, I was still in a funk in the beginning and just kind of moving very measured. You know, I had to get my groove. I'm still very much in my feelings about this case. So I'm not, you know, I'm really too emotional to have brought this to you so soon. But I didn't want to kick the can not another day. I had no idea that yesterday when I planned to go live, that they were going to close, deliberate, verdict, and sentence all in the same day. I wasn't ready for all that. It was a shock to my whole entire nervous system. No, a jury of your peers is not just anyone in the community. White folk do lie all the time, tougher than a rug. We got to deal with the wanton white supremacists and dark white supremacists. Darling, you can borrow from me. My term for the dark wanton white supremacists are Crayolas with 3 Ks. You're welcome. I love this, Root Trackers. You can drop her information in the chat. She's had a black manicurist since 2019. I love it. You can text it to me, fam. Black parents are not preparing black children about the reality of anti-black racism, which is doing their children a grave disservice. You are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. And when you wait too late to try to tell them, it's too late. It's too late because if you wait too late to tell them the truth, they've already made too many white friends. So they don't believe you. All them folks do is lie, steal, and cheat and kill. Don't leave that out. You cannot put a price tag on an HBCU education. Family, you ain't ever lied. Collins County, thank you, Roots Trackers. The hostility is very real at those PWIs. Yes. The one that my daughter attended in California, it pales in comparison. Like, they're bringing in their children to make sure they've got all their credits to graduate on time, to put them on with the best internships. They totally neglect and ignore our children at these PWIs. As a matter of fact, she wants to get her master's degree from yet a different HBCU. And I'm going to do everything in my power to help her achieve it. Collins County, thank you, family. Well, I think I'm at the end of my comments. I thank you so very, very much. The moral of the broadcast, family, is we all we got. Move and act and spend accordingly. Continue to keep our brother Karmelo lifted in prayer. Research before you get into the GoFundMe's for the family. They're going to need every dime towards his appeal. And to be able to survive in the meantime and in between time, they've got other children. And we need all hands on deck. Help to make this video go viral. It wasn't as packed tonight as it normally is, but it's a Tuesday work night, I think, or Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Anyway, I'm losing track of time. But let's help to make these messages go viral. and really be about the boycott. Be about your protest vote for deportation, closed borders. We have no friends. That's absolutely correct. We've all we got. And so we have to move accordingly. We have to weaponize our vote, socialize our suffering, get out here and protest vote against the demon rats, because they are responsible due in large part as to why we're continuing to be targets. Barack Obama had an opportunity to stop it, him and Eric Holder, and they chose not to. And so it's time to punish the demon rats, punish the immigrants, punish the illegals, until times get better for the Negro, until the Negroes are flourishing, until Negroes have our reparations, until Negroes have our anti-Black hate crime bill, until Negroes have an end to qualified immunity. This is how long you have to be prepared to lean in on the boycotts, the protest vote. Always, always, always stand your ground. Helping to make these videos go viral so that other folks can be informed about what's really going on. That the mainstream media is not going to report to you through a Negro lens. So yeah, each one reach for one and teach one. That's the kind of time we've got to be on all over the country, or it is the end of the line. Do what you can for our baby Karmelo, his family. Send care packages. Research what you can send before you send it. Oh, thank you, Beth. I appreciate you, family. Great line. Glad I made it. Thank you, Your Highness. P1. Thank you, family. I love y'all. Negro Freedman strong. Yes, I do. Yeah, be sure you do the research. I thought I had, oh Lord, I be doing too much, y'all. Let me read to y'all. I think this is where he is. Let me see here. Okay, y'all. He was transferred to his unit of assignment at the PAC unit, P-A-C-K unit, near Navasota, Texas. He was isolated in the Collin County Jail before being transferred to Texas State Prison. Okay, let me put that in the chat. Now, research this before you start sending things. Get a real handle on what his address is and make sure you research what you can send. Anthony was transferred to his unit of assignment. So it is Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Okay, the butterfly new viewer received his info from a DA. Oh, thank you, Sugar. All right, well, this is from Fox News. I don't know, child. I'm going to flash yours instead since you did the research, family. I thank you so much for joining the live, and I sure hope you become a new subby. Welcome home. Oh, hold on. Info. Karmelo Sincere Anthony. There's his case ID. 505/11/2007 if you like to support. Oh, okay, sis. The butterfly voice 4. I don't understand this. Oh, his date of birth. I see it. Oh Lord. Let me look over here. And so where do we send it though? That's his case ID. I don't see the address to send him a care package. Okay, sis, could you? Thank you for becoming a new subby. Welcome home. Could you please put down? You said if my information is wrong, yeah, share, like, and subscribe. Thank you, Your Highness. B1. Yes, I didn't get that info. He didn't give that. This is all he said that he had. Okay, well, that's good info to have. But Fox has him. Let me finish typing this. You guys vet the information, okay? Vet the information before you send your care packages. But I want y'all to just overwhelm our son with love. Overwhelm him with love. That he don't have room enough to receive it, okay? So let me share what I've got off of Fox. Okay, Texas Department of Criminal Justice. His unit of assignment. Is, I'm going to put that in caps. PAC unit near Navasota, Texas. Okay, so vet this. All right. I don't know. This is what Fox has. Texas State Prison, okay? Yes. All right. Very good. So, with that being said, family, I'm going to end with let me do our declare and decree. Oh, thank you so much, because I couldn't find the full address and wanted to send him some motivation and uplifting things. Thank you. Yes, we should overwhelm our son with just a ton of greatness to help him build up his spirit, his spirituality, because he is truly the face of God, the voice of God, the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. And so he can be learning more about his spirit, man, so that even though he's in jail, he will be free. He might be physically in jail, but there is a way he can free himself, akin to what Malcolm X did, akin to what Nelson Mandela did. And we're going to believe that he's going to be restored to his family sooner than later, because we believe in the miracles of the inner Christ. That's what we stand on over here, right? Oh, oh, I am so glad you were led here too. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome home. All right, family. So if you want that information, it's going to be in the chat. Once again, I want to thank you all for being here. Let me do the declare and decree and our prayer of protection. I even have a little visioning exercise and an affirming prayer for Karmelo Anthony, okay? And you guys need to keep him lifted in your prayers daily and regularly. I pray for him daily, okay? As a part of my entire prayers that I pray at the top of my morning. And we're going to incorporate the prayer here. It's not fancy, but God don't need fancy. God just needs for it to be from your heart. So let's get ready for the declare and decree so we can condemn all these liars to hell, to damnation. And I don't necessarily mean a proverbial hell, because to me, I mean in terms of a spiritual hell. Heaven and hell are consciousness. Consciousness determines where you dwell. The truth that sets you free is heaven on earth, and the lies are the things that keep you in bondage. Okay? Those lies that they were spewing to try to give cover to a known bully. You see, you're not punished for your sin. There ain't no white Neptune looking cat sitting up in the sky delving out blessing and cursings based on your good and bad behavior. You're not punished for your sins. You're punished by your sins. They will be punished by their sins because karma is undefeated. So I'm going to get into my declare and decree, our prayer of protection, and then I'm going to bring in the outro. I think I have another really bomb dope video. Y'all have seen it here before, but Ishmael, she shared it again over in X, and I think I want to close with that, okay? Let's go. I declare and decree that the highest form of righteous judgment is served over all corrupt beings of the government, judicial system, including the race soldiers and the deputized, the bullies, CPS Child Protective Services, judges, attorneys, FBI agents, the CIA, the repugnant clans, the demon rats, and all personnel working for the U.S. corporation with 3 Ks with wicked intentions. All hidden corruption and agendas are now destroyed forevermore, in spirit and in flesh, in sleep and in awakened states, across all timelines, realms, and dimensions, known and unknown. Thank you, Father, Mother, Spirit Divine, that the outcome of this appeal will set a precedent, that the Stand Your Ground laws finally are inclusive of Black Americans. Thank you, Father, Mother, Spirit Divine, for returning Karmelo back to his family, for blessing him with an incredibly full life with his degrees, even perhaps as a defense attorney, helping other innocent Black men, women, and children be acquitted when they too stand their ground. And thank you so very, very much for blessing him with a beautiful, brilliant Black wife and healthy, beautiful, brilliant babies, lots of them, because Negro love, marriage, and babies is the real revolution. Thank you, Father, Mother, Spirit Divine, for these answered prayers and greater. In the name of Yahuwah Yahshua, we let it be so, and so it is, and amen and ashe. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever the Black American Negro freedman descendant of the emancipated and its allies are, God truly is, because, family, you are the face of God. Yes, you are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. Until we meet again, family, I'm believing for each and every one of us a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your evening, morning, and work week. And until we meet again, family, I'm believing for each and every one of us a turn of peace, love, reparations, delineation, deportations, boycotts, stand your ground, and Negro love, marriage, and babies. Yes, 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 yes. And the growth and prosperity of all of our businesses and our capacity to leave generational inheritable wealth to our children and their children, and the rebirth of an entire Negro Wall Street. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining at this hour. I appreciate and love me some you more than words can convey. You mean the world to me. You are my brother. You are my sisters. You are my daughters. You are my sons. You are my nephews. You are my nieces. You are my cousins. You're everything to me. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down, family. Peace, good night.
So it's time to go. Y'all don't hear us. Pull up a seat and motherfucking listen. Pull up a seat and motherfucking listen.
Pack your bag, time to go home.
Talking crazy on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
This our grind, we outside on it. While y'all fools on the outside looking, y'all show no respect to Black America, so leave.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your disrespect and just fly on.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your disrespect and just fly on.
You landed on the tarmac, fresh off the boat. Talking about y'all building nothing, man, you choking on the note. My ancestors the reason that this country even breathes. Picked the cotton, built the White House, planted the seed. Jim Crow laws, redlined the map, we was the target. You think that struggle's a costume, man, you can't mark it. We fought the wars, we bled the blood, we died for our future's chance. And you come here and give our legacy a side eye while throwing shade on the guard. While you benefit from doors we kicked down with our last breath. Now you spit on the architects who stared down death. Disrespectful, that's disrespectful, ungrateful. A slap in the face, the only people who gave a fuck. So let me show your ungrateful ass to the right place.
Pack your bags, time to go home.
Talking crazy on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
This our grind and we outside on it. While y'all fools on the outside looking, y'all show no respect to Black America, so leave.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your disrespect and just fly on.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your disrespect and just fly on. Passport, the visa, the privilege to be here. Cause my grandma did march for y'all, so disappear from our land. You cosplaying our pain. Think it's a trend you can borrow, but you ain't inherit the ghosts of our sorrow. We the foundation, the bedrock, the soil, and the root. You not no branch on our tree, and unproductive people always cosplaying me.
Talking about we ain't do nothing, you lost your mind. We built this from nothing, time after time.
From the beginning to now, we've been the backbone and muscle. Why you look down on the struggle and cause a whole tussle? That energy style was discussing, it's whack. So let's make it clear There's no turning back.
This land is paid for in full.
In blood, sweat, and tears, and dreams deferred.
You don't get to come into a house we built from the dirt and telling Black America y'all ain't worth nothing. That's a violation. Facts.
Pack your bags, time to go home.
It's our soil on our soil where our blood and bones grow.
Show respect, this our ground. Y'all just tenants on a leash.
Or get the step.
Show no respect to Black America, so leave.
Oh, don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, taking your tennis, I can just lay on.
Oh, don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, taking your tennis, I can just lay on.
Yeah, fly little birdies.
Fly on back to where you came from.
This ain't for you. The soil is sacred.
We said what we said.
It's time
For y'all to go home. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. Fly far, far away from here. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. Fly far, far away from here. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. Fly far, far away from here. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. Fly far, far away from here. Bye bye, little